Hello and welcome to Kloeker Education Foundation, where we provide quality content for amazing teachers and students. If you're joining us from our previous video on economic and economic activities, welcome back. If this is your first time, we're glad you're here. This is our Intro to Business series, and this lesson is on competition. Let's dive in. We have three objectives within this lesson. Objective A, explain the nature of competition. B, distinguish among market structures. And C, describe the effects of competition in a private enterprise system. Let's talk about Objective A, describing the nature of competition. You might be thinking, why is this important? A little competition doesn't hurt anyone. Competition is all around us, whether we want it to be or not. On the job, at schools, in sports, in the dating world. Competition can be a good thing because it brings out the best in people and it helps people exceed to do better. Competition is also a good thing in business because when businesses compete successfully, they grow and they prosper. Now, competition is the rivalry among two or more businesses to attract scarce or limited customer dollars. And what can be more iconic as a rivalry in business than Coca-Cola versus Pepsi? A series of ads debuted in the early 2010s where Pepsi comes out and says, "We wish you a scary Halloween," dressed up as Coke. And Coca-Cola responded with the same ad and said, "Everyone wants to be a superhero for Halloween." Nothing can be more iconic than this rivalry, which we still see today. Now, direct competition. This occurs when businesses that offer similar types of goods or services compete. Fast food restaurants like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, In-N-Out, they are direct competitors. Microsoft, Apple, they are direct competitors because they sell computers to adults and children. So think about some businesses in your hometown and think of two that are direct competitors. Now there is indirect competition. This occurs when businesses compete for scarce customer dollars that might be spent on goods or services different from their own. Every seller experiences indirect competition, and each customer has a limited amount of money to spend, and every business wants to get that cash from the customer. What are some indirect competitions in your community? Take a minute and pause the video now. Turn and talk to your neighbor about the indirect competitions you see in your community. Comes to direct versus indirect competition, most businesses focus their efforts with direct competitors. McDonald's, Dairy Queen, Burger King, In-N-Out, Whataburger, direct competitors. What is price competition? Price competition is the type of rivalry between and among businesses that focus on the use of price to attract scarce customer dollars. Now, this might be discounted coupons, a sale, buy one, get one free. It may be order on our app and we'll give you a discount because you want repeat customers. It might be price matching of this is cheaper at another location, but we will match it because we want your business here. Or a rebate where we will give you money back in return after you prove purchase from a receipt. Non-price competition is a type of rivalry where they use other bases than price to attract scarce customer dollars. This might be exceptional quality, special features, using trained personnel, better customer service, convenience, modern facilities over outdated ones, or providing a wider variety of products. Now let's get to our second objective, distinguishing among market structures. Now market structure is very important. The amount of competition a company experiences depends a lot on how many businesses sell similar products. This is the market structure. That is going to primarily depend on how many sellers exist. And there are four main types within the market structure. There is perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and monopoly. Let's break them down a little bit further. Perfect competition, also known as pure competition. There are many businesses, many buyers, and identical products. It rarely exists in the real world. For example, farm commodities such as wheat and corn, where corn is going to be the same regardless of where you buy it. This serves as a benchmark to compare real market structures against, because all the products are identical. Monopolistic competition is a type of market structure you'll find most likely in a private enterprise economy. There's many businesses with similar products and only a few differences. For example, shampoos, cosmetics, and running shoes. There are dozens of types of shampoos and soaps with very few differences among them. Mostly color, smell, and whether you want it in a bottle or in a bar. Sellers generally lower their price to increase sales using price competition or differentiate their product to attract business, non-price competition. Oligopoly, there are fewer businesses, relatively larger, and these businesses have much more control over the market and product prices than in the previous. Difficult for new businesses to enter the market and compete. Businesses have to devote time to innovation and the reduction of production costs. These are examples of pharmaceutical companies, the automobile industry, oil industry, the airplane industry. It's very difficult to get into that because in order to get into that, you have to prove years and years of safety regulations before you can even develop and put your product on the market, and then you must market it successfully better than the companies that are already established. This is why most small automobile industries have died off and there are just a few major brands left in the world. And last is monopoly. This market is controlled by one business. There's no substitute products readily available. Competition does not exist. And usually this is not allowed in the private enterprise system. In the United States, serious steps were taken against monopolies and trust with the Sherman Antitrust Act back in the 1880s. Because monopolies can cause many problems. Monopolies have a tendency to raise prices whenever they want without much repercussion because there's no choice in consumers. Monopolies produce less because they're the only suppliers, and they often have a chokehold on the market, preventing new businesses from emerging. Now, there are a few regulated monopolies that do exist. A regulated monopoly is legally allowed to exist when the government feels that it is a good trust and can serve customers more efficiently than several small companies. Generally, prices and costs are kept down. For example, electricity distribution, natural gas distribution, and garbage collection, like waste management, these are regulated monopolies where one large company provides most of the services for the nation or the region. Federal legislation, of course, has been passed to promote ethical and legal competition. These include the previously mentioned Sherman Antitrust Act, the Clayton Act, the Federal Trade Commission, the Robinson-Patman, and the Celler-Kefauver Anti-Merger Act in 1950. And to our last objective, Objective C, describing the effects of competition in a private enterprise system. Now, competition in a private enterprise system is fundamental to success. Without competition, private enterprise system would not exist. Buyers and sellers play an important role in determining what will be produced, what are the prices that will be charged. And in private enterprise system, most businesses have several competitors for their goods and their resources. Competition benefits these companies, encouraging new businesses to enter the market to provide new goods and services as well as innovation. It encourages businesses to operate as efficiently as possible to minimize cost and maximize profit, and offer the reward of sharing the profits with the community and its workers. Competition benefits the customers as well, because competition allows for innovation with new products to enter the market and meet the needs of the customer. to maintain and improve the quality of the products that are already there, to provide better and more customer service, to provide a wider variety of goods and services to the consumer, and to keep prices down for the consumer. Competition benefits society. Because of lower prices, this creates a higher standard of living where the consumer has more money, creates products that help people live longer, be healthier, and be happier, creates new businesses that makes more jobs, which again, in turn, puts more money into the economy and creates that prosperity that many nations strive for. Now, let's take some of these principles we just talked about and apply it to a real-world scenario that we might see in our hometown. Think about a business where you work or where you would like to work. Who are the direct competitors for that business? What are the forms of price and non-price competition does that business you want or work for use to attract customers? Are there forms of price and non-price competition that you've seen as successful in attracting people to this business? How could the business better compete against the rivals in the marketplace? Now, let's take these principles and values and the lessons and apply them to a real-world scenario so we can continue to build strong ethics and character in business through the gray zone. Now, yesterday, hardware store industry was made up of many privately owned mom and pop shops. Today, the hardware industry is dominated by a few major giant corporations who have wiped out these small stores, such as Lowe's, Home Depot, and Ace Hardware. Why has this happened? Why do we have the rise of such large industries? Is it fair? Is it ethical? Should the government step in to regulate these industries and their rise to power in the economy? And that's going to wrap up our lesson. Thanks for joining us. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe and check us out on Teachers Pay Teachers, YouTube, Rumble, and the Kloeker Education Foundation website. Our next lesson on goods and services is just a click away. I'll see you there.